but we will find out. That's why I agree. It's open. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhirya Jatraha Sthirairange Istushtuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddashravaha Swasti nः Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In our study of Kailvalya Upanishad, we last saw mantra number 12, that the same absolute Brahman, the nameless, the formless, the quality-less, absolute reality, which never, ever, ever manifests. It always remains as the unqualified Brahman. That Brahman somehow gets deluded by its own Maya Shakti. Sa eva parimohitatma. Over here we saw Sa eva Maya parimohitatma shariramastaya karoti sarvam striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi Sa eva jagrat paritruptimeti. That same Brahman, we saw that being deluded by its own Maya Shakti, that Brahman over here becomes a Jivatma Shariramastaya, abiding in this body. Karoti Sarvam, it accepts the ownership of sthula, sukshma, karana, sharira, and identifying with all of them is born a fictitious entity, ego. That ego, having owned up everything and owning up the apartment of this physical form, stri annapana adi vichitra bhogaihi, enjoying all the pleasures of life, gets lost in the enjoyment, and sa eva jagrat paritrupti meti, in the waking state, identifying with the body, uh, enjoying all the enjoyments born out of the sensory pleasures, is what Shankaracharya over here, Brahmaji has over here narrowed down to Stri Annapana the Vichitra Bhogaihi, the food required for this body. It is not just the food, but enjoys food, enjoys all the carnal pleasures, enjoys all the joy born out of the Sthula Sharira, and this is how Paritruptimeti. We saw at great length what this paritruptim. Time and again, the person has a desire to enjoy more and more and more joys. Time and again is where we left off. Mantra number 13. Swapne sa jiva sukha dukkha bhokta.
Swapne sajiva sukha dukkha bhokta.
Swamayaya kalpita jiva loke.
Swamaya kalpita jiva loke.
Sushupti kale sakale viline.
Sushupti kale sakale viline.
Tamo vibhuta sukharupameti.
Tamo vibhuta sukharupameti.
Now, the autobiography of the Jiva progresses further on, and what is mentioned over here, that Swapne Saha Jiva, that same deluded, egocentric personality born out of identification with this Sharira, identifying with the subtle body, swapne, during the dream state, that jiva sukha sukha dukkha bhokta, he gives up the attachment to the physical form and this physical plane of existence, and creates, projects yet another world where swamayaya kalpita jiva loke. The waking state over here is, the waking state is where it enjoys none other than the I don't know. Huh. So during the waking state, identifying with the waking state and the jagrat prapancha, it enjoys and it renounces the sensory contact with the waking state, and in the subtle state, in the subtle dream state, having disassociated with this time space created total maya, it creates yet its own maya within the realm of the maya. It creates its own maya. Dream is none other than maya squared. So swamayaya kalpita, the jiva creating its own maya projects kalpita jiva loke. It creates yet another world in the dream state, and it enjoys all the dream joys and sorrows. Sukha dukkha bhokta, becomes the enjoyer, uh, as well as it enjoys both the joys and the sorrow, the enjoyers of the pleasure and pain. All of these experiences are experiences, And not only that, if that wasn't enough, Shushupti kale sakale viline, and in the deep sleep state, uniqueness happens in the Shushupti kale sakale viline. Everything completely goes tamo vibhuta sukharupameti, and then identifying with nothing but pure tamas. And because of this pure tamas which exists, this jiva, born out of pure ignorance and pure darkness, all of this, sukharupameti, it in ignorance, even there is a saying in English, ignorance is bliss. The same thing over here, Upanishadic language says sukharupameti. It enters the very hazy form of joy. And that's why sleep is so dear to us. Each one of us, we become exhausted in the waking state, we become exhausted in the dream state, and thus the jiva suspends itself into this deep sleep state by its own maya. um the self expresses itself through the causal body, the self expresses itself through the subtle body, through the dream state, and the same egocentric self expresses itself via the gross body in the waking state. In this way, all three states, it is nothing but the jiva is going around, and it enjoys, and it enjoys. And over here it is said, tamo abhibhutaha, identifying with complete darkness and identifying with complete ignorance. In Gurudev's language, he says that non apprehension of reality leads to misapprehension of reality. So that tamo abhibhutaha, identifying with pure darkness, pure tamo guna, this tamo abhibhutaha, this non apprehension, not recognizing positively its own identity as absolute, that jiva now identifies with something else. What does it identify? It identifies with the subtle world, it identifies with the gross world. When it identifies with the subtle world, it identifies with its subtle thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings, and that creates a reality within a reality. And then in the waking state and identifying with the senses and the body, it identifies with the objects, people, and emotions, and the entire pluralistic world it enjoys. This jiva is suspended like a pendulum, going back and forth, waking state, dream state, waking state, dream state, all in not understanding its own identity. And because it has not understood its own true nature as absolute, it has created an identification with the subtle and the gross, and that is lived out as misapprehension. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm educated, I'm uneducated, I'm rich, I'm poor, I am privileged, I'm unprivileged. All of these things, it identifies and creates a world of its own understanding. And in this way, this jiva, tamo abhibhutaha, ident with absolute tamas, this jiva goes around, and that is what is explained in mantra number 14. पुनश्च जन्मान्तरकर्मयोगात्
पुनश्च जन्मान्तरकर्मयोगात्
स एव जीव स्वपिति प्रबुद्धः
स एव जीव स्वपिति प्रबुद्धः
पुरत्रये क्रीडति यश्च जीवः
पुरत्रये क्रीडति यश्च जीवः
ततस्तु जातं सकलं विचित्रम्
ततस्तु जातं सकलं विचित्रम्
आधारमानन्दमखण्डबोधम्
आधारमानन्द अखण्डबोधम्
यस्मिन् लयं याति पुरत्रयं च
यस्मिन् लयं याति पुरत्रयं च
So over here, punascha janmantara karma yoga. Because now see this jiva, it has written its own autobiography. In the waking state, so many people it comes in contact with, gets married, creates children. In the dream state, renounces the marriage and the children, and yet creates another marriage, another set of children. Again in the morning, wakes up and realizes, who this was a dream, and another uh, day starts. In this way the jiva lives for n number of years and creates n number of vasanas, and these more vasanas, the more desires that it creates out of contact with people, contact with objects, having relationship. I like this object, I don't like it. People go and buy some all of these expensive crystals, and then they put it in a showcase, and god knows what happens to it. The children have no desire to keep when the person dies and throws away. And the vasana for collecting these crystals, people create spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. And I realize, what is this? But now it has created this vasana for wearing certain type of clothes, etc. So sannyasi is just given one type of, just wear same color, same clothes. Simplification, so we give haircut to all the vasanas. So this Punashta Janmantara Karma Yoga, born out of the karmic balance of what we take from the world, what we give to the world, what we give to the people, what I take from the people. This continuous balance is there, which we have to pay off. And unintelligent living creates so many karmic debt, that the human being is just paying off debt. The more we buy on credit, the more we have to pay not just the credit balance, but the heavy interest that we incur on this balance. So in this way, this sa eva jiva swapiti prabuddha, the one which is gone to sleep because of the karma yoga, because karma yoga, born out of the necessity to exhaust karmic debt. The sleeping person wakes up in the morning. Please don't think that the alarm is waking us up, because we have unfinished karmic debt. This body comes with x number of breaths and x number of karmic debts that we have to finish. So dharma is what is due to the other. That is the actual meaning of dharma. To fulfill my responsibilities for others, I am forced to wake up. And we think that we are waking up because of um, wanting to achieve this, doing this. Actually, the only thing that wakes us up is our karmic debt. Punascha janmantara karma yogat sa eva jiva swapiti prabuddha. Prabuddha, he's woken up. Swapiti, in a ghora nidra, we go into, from the waking, we go to dream, from dream, we go to deep sleep state. And from the deep sleep state, when we wake up the next morning, realize there is unfinished business, and that unfinished business has uh, come over here to wake me up. Puratraye kridati yascha jiva. And this jiva plays in these three cities. It's like, people, they live in Surat, but they work way out there in Mumbai. Early hours of the day, they wake up, they sit in the train, go all the way to Mumbai, and they come back exhausted, only to go to bed at midnight to wake up at 4 hour and start the whole journey again. So living in Surat, then enjoying the work life, you may call it enjoying, the person who knows what they are going through, working somewhere in Mumbai, and then weekend comes and they are tired of both places. Let us go to Valsad, and they will go to some other city, who knows. So like that, the person continuously living in one home, working some other city, and then on the weekend going somewhere else. In this way, three cities, the person, uh, at home the person is considered to be a father, at work he is considered to be an employee, and in a vacation home he's considered to be an enjoyer, who knows, you know. So etc, all of this continuously, the jiva just goes back and forth into these three cities. Puratraye kridati yascha jivaha tatastu jatam sakalam vichitram. All of this is sakalam vichitram. Unique is this entire play of Maya and play of uh, the dance of the jiva in the three cities, going back and forth. All of that is the autobiography of a jiva. All of us in this Kaivalya Upanishad, mantras 12, 13, and 14 summarizes in three mantras autobiography of all of us. And we yet buy New York Times best-selling author autobiography, this, that, we read, यहाँ पे जन्म हुआ, यहाँ पे ये किया, वहाँ पे वो हुआ. It's the same thing, same thing. All of that in Upanishad, it is captured in three mantras, the dance of this jiva. But what is the support? Adharam Anandam Akhanda Bodham. The support of all of this. In Vedanta, support is very different. I can say that this, my hand supports this watch. We say that over here in this Laukik language, my hand is supporting this watch, and then my hand is supporting this book. When you ask what is the support of this book, in Vedanta, support is very different. The support is the pulp of the paper is the support of this book. When we say what is the support of an ornament, gold alone is. In every part of the necklace, of the earring, bracelet, whatever it is, gold alone is. Just the form, name, shape is different. But ante to hem no hem. And Narsi Mehta calls it, even Vedanta, it ultimately gold alone is. What is the support of all waters? Nothing but ocean. Ocean alone is the support of, we may call it waves, we may call it foam, we may call it bubble, we can call it froth, all of that. The support is nothing but ocean is the support. And H2O alone is. The names are wave, we call it Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. The essence is nothing but H2O. Look at all the different pots and etc. Nothing but clay alone is the support of saucer and cup and flower vase and etc. We look at the bricks which are used to build the building. Each brick is molded out of nothing but clay. So clay is the support of brick. So Aadhar, what is the Aadhar of the three cities? What is the Aadhar of the Jiva? What is the Aadhar of the waking state? Aadhar of the dream state? Aadhar of the deep sleep state? What is the Aadhar? It is said over here, Aadharam, uh, um, over here, Aadharam, Anandam, Akhanda Bodham. What is the support? The support is Anandam, bliss. And that bliss, what is this bliss? Akhanda Bodham. It is unbroken consciousness, unbroken existence, consciousness, bliss is the support. That is the support of everything. That support, the jiva was not able to realize its identity as. If the bangle doesn't realize that it is gold, it has missed out. It just thinks, I'm bangle, I'm bangle, I'm bangle. But in fact, it is nothing but gold. In the same way, the jiva doesn't recognize that it is absolute existence, consciousness, bliss. Not realizing that, non apprehension of this Aadhar as Akhanda Ananda Bodham, what happens? Misapprehension. What is the misapprehension? I'm a jiva, I am Purusha, I am man, I am woman, I'm educated, not educated, I am rich, I am poor, I have a good job, I have a bad job. Why am I living over here? My bhagya is not good. Yeah, I mean, endless misapprehensions are born just because there was not, the jiva has not acquired the ability to realize its own absolute nature. And because of that, yasmin layam yati puratrayam cha. Because of this, what can that poor jiva do? Layam yati puratrayam. It's it's destitute for living in these three cities. What else can it do? So, in this way, the jiva is destitute to roam around in this city of three. mm, you know that's why Bhagavan Shivji is also called Tripurari in Shiva Puran. Or if you have seen Devoke Dev Mahadev and all of those, we see that there is a golden city, there is a silver city, some places bronze, and there is a copper city. So these are nothing but this Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti. And the Asura who has taken over all three cities is none other than Ahankar, ego, and Bhagavan kills that Asura. So all of these stories actually are nothing but Vedanta in a very cryptic way, so that people, भगवान ने ये तीन सिटियों पूरा जला दिया. In knowledge we burn Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti. That's all. ज्ञान चक्षु से सब कुछ जला दिया. Only in knowledge everything comes to an end. So that's why it is said over here, such a person, yasmin layam yati puratrayam cha. This self, this consciousness is of the nature of knowledge. It is Gnapti Swarup. It is knowledge itself. It is because of that knowledge I know this phone. My buddhi is invigorated because of this consciousness. The texture and the quality of the buddhi may differ from one person to the other, but that which enlivens, that which ignites the buddhi of a smart boy in the class and the not so smart boy in the class, it's the same consciousness in both of them. In fact, it is the same consciousness everywhere. And that is to be realized. That is the Aadhar. We don't realize that we are this absolute. This is the knowledge. This is the teaching of Upanishad, Jiva Brahma Aikya, that in fact I am none other than this knowledge. When this rises, then the egocentric living comes to an end. Continuing, mantra number 15. Etasmajjayate prano
एकस्माज्जायते प्राणो
manas sarvendriyani cha
मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च
kham vayujyotirapah
खं आयुर्ज्योतिरापः
pruthivi vishwasya dharini.
पृथिवी विश्वस्वसारिणी
So, etasmat, from whom? From this Brahman. From whom? From this Aadhar. And what is this Aadhar? Aadharam Ananda Makhanda Bodham. It is unbroken awareness, consciousness, bliss, existence, infinitude. There are only four Swarupa Lakshana. The nature of consciousness is Sat Chit Anand Anantam. Bas. That is it. Existence, that existence is not a dead existence, it is aware. So that existence is Chaitanya. And that existence which is aware of its own existence is not a burden to itself. That is why it is Anand. For how long? For infinite period of time. For us, what happens when we are meditated, when we are quiet? Our existence is peaceful. Somebody comes and disturbs us, our existence of our reality is disturbed by someone else, and it becomes khandita, it becomes broken, and that broken awareness rattles us continuously. The world is breaking our consciousness, and actually, in the name of multitasking, we have become broken glass pieces scattered everywhere. How can we be in the state of joy and happiness? We are continuously scattered because we allow the world to steal away our awareness. कोई आकर हमको गधा बोल दिया, and we are like, how dare you call me gada? Gurudev used to say, just turn in the back and see if there is a tail. There's not a tail, then just be by yourself. Why are you worried? If the tail appears, then be worried. If somebody calls us donkey, how many times the tail comes out in the back? Never. But what happens is we get mad and our consciousness gets looted away by the person, by something happens. Now, this alarm was going on. Instead of paying attention, the consciousness is looted away by that. Arey, ye kya ho gaya? So continuously, we are just breaking our awareness with everything. It is not akhand. And because it is not akhand, we are not able to be with ourselves. But absolute, there is no second. Ekam eva advitiya. There is no second. So if there is no second, what breaks consciousness? Nothing. It alone is. That is why Adharam Ananda Akhanda Bodham, our awareness is continuously looted away. This is Etasmat, this Brahman, from it alone, Jayate Pranaha, the very vital force. Prana meaning the Rajoguna comes out. You know, Brahman lends its awareness principle to Prakriti, and Prakriti becomes invigorated. Prakriti becomes invigorated when all the three gunas are in equilibrium. The Prakriti is in Laya. But when that Prakriti, in the presence of consciousness, when the three gunas start moving, that movement is pranaha. Now the prakriti is flowing. Which prakriti? The macrocosm and microcosm both. Prakriti of the mana. Mana is what? Microcosm. Now the mind becomes, there is a total mind and then there is an individual mind. I'm smitten by my own Rajoguna, and the universe is smitten by the total Rajoguna. So, pranaha, manaha, sarvendriyani cha, and all senses, all of our senses, they become invigorated by various gunas. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Some people's hearing is not very well. As we age, we lose hearing. Eyesight, we lose eyesight. And some people, their eyesight is so good, nothing escapes out. Puja Gurudev, oh my God, nothing escaped his eyesight. He's in utmost awareness. That consciousness is not looted away by anyone. He remains with his own self. Nobody can do anything to his presence. He is. He is. This is what Mahatmas are. They don't allow the world to play them. We are continuously on other people's fingertips. We are played by people and we don't even realize. At home, at work, in society, in politics, in organizations and board meetings, and nothing but one is playing the other. That's called a board meeting. Bus. Everywhere it is just someone is playing the other. And we allow the madness is we allow the other to play us. This is pranaha, manaha, sarva, indriyani cha. If that wasn't enough, at the jiva level, now at the samashti level, kham, vayu, jyotihi, apa, prithvi, the panchamahabhut, the five great elements, they all come about macrocosm and microcosm. Macro and micro, they just move about, and That trapped consciousness, sometimes over here, sometimes over here, it's like the fickle nature of a dog. The ear goes in continuously, whoa, 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 whoa. Everywhere noise is coming, everywhere smell is coming, and that dog is distracted every moment to moment. The human is nothing different. This autobiography is played out where the jiva gets trapped in all of this, not realizing the self realized soul lives in the same world, but he is one with Adharam Anandam Akhanda Bodham. And when he looks at his own body, has great regard for the five senses, the entire Sharira, doesn't abuse it. Whatever is required, food will be put, etc. The interactions, knowing in every interaction, his consciousness remains with himself. He doesn't allow himself to get withered away by the universe, by the problems of the universe. He will say, which problem? What problem? You can read the books Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That, or Raman Maharshi ji's uh, so many Ramana Gita, and you can, all both of these masters, they have tried to explain what the world looks like from the standpoint of an illumined intellect, where the consciousness is not broken. The consciousness is not looted away. In fact, the consciousness remains right there. And he questions, which world? What world? Which problem? What problem? Because for this Akhandam Anand, the uh, Bodh, for this absolute awareness, that alone is, and everything else is just nothing but the play. Watch the play. And the play is also a play because of the presence of the substratum of this awareness, which is in and through the very play. So, why would the play disturb me? Isn't the play also part of this universe as I am? And they remain in their own awareness. That is what is described over here from the standpoint of a person who is illumined. Continuing, shlok mantra number 16. Yat param brahma sarvatma
Param Brahma Sarvatma
vishwasyayatanam mahat
Vishwasyayantam Mahata
sukshmat sukshmataram nityam
Sukshma Sukshmataram Nityam
tatvameva tvameva tat.
Tattvameva Tvameva Tata.
So each Upanishad has its own Mahavakya. The Mahavakya of this Upanishad is Tattvameva Tvameva Tat. This is the Mahavakya. You are that, and that alone is you. Tat Tvameva Tvameva Tat. You are that, and that alone is you. Is the Mahavakya of this Upanishad. So, what is this mantra saying? Yat param brahma sarvatma. This param brahma, this absolute Brahman, which absolute Brahman? Unqualified Brahman, not the Brahman which has lent its awareness to this created world. Yes, the created world is Brahman, but it is a play of the three gunas, the Prakriti. So that absolute, that supreme Brahman, Sarvatma, which is the very essence of everything. What is the essence of a gold bangle is only gold. The essence of this clay cup is nothing but clay. It is just glazed and fired, but ultimately it is mrudeva satyam. It is mitti. It is nothing but only mud. Mud has been transformed into this particular shape and form, and the shape and form is known as a mug. That's all. The same shape and form over here is known as a plate. A different shape, a different form, a different name, but the same clay. In this way, all of this essence, Sarvatma, the self of all, the essence is Vishwasya Ayatanam Mahat. It is the very support of the entire universe. Please understand, the support over here is not like the hand which is supporting this cup. This is not the support. Support over here is what is holding the whole thing together. What is holding the whole thing together is nothing but clay. What is holding uh, this entire body is Pancha Mahabhut. And what is holding this entire universe is nothing but same Pancha Mahabhut, the five great elements. So Vishwasya Ayatanam Mahata. And what is the essence of Akash Tattva, the five elements, the subtlemost space? There's no space in this room. What is the essence of this space? Brahman. Essence of this water, Dravit Vastu. Nothing but it is Brahman. Because Brahman alone, from Brahman, the whole thing is projected. If I want to make this table, this desk over here, I go to Home Depot. I buy some wood. I buy a saw. I buy some nails. I buy some glue. I have to even buy some tools, screwdriver, and etc. All of these things. And then I have to have intelligence of cutting what shape I want, what kind of legs I want, and I put it all together. When Brahman wants to make the universe, which Home Depot he goes to? What is his Home Depot? He alone is a material cause. He alone is the intelligent cause. And he alone is the efficient cause. All three are born out of him. Because all three are born out of him, the effect is illusion. How can we say that? We do this every day. When? In our sleep. In our own mind, we create a universe, we create people, we create accidents, we create vacations within a dream. Where did we get all the material to create the dream? Our mind alone is intelligent cause, material cause, efficient cause. When we wake up, the whole thing is we realize, अरे ये तो was a dream. We are in his dream. That's why it's called Maya. This is grand dream. And because it is his dream, everything is he and he alone. That is Vishwasya Ayatanam Mahat. Sukshmat Sukshmataram. Every tiny little particle, the electron, the neutron, the proton, even the essence of a neutron. Sukshmat Sukshmataram. The subtle most, that alone is eternal. Even physics has declared that now. And when you go into subatomic level, there is actually nothing. When we go inside and inside and inside, eternality exists. Sukshmat Sukshmataram. Subtler than the subtle most, Nityam it ever is. Because the whole thing is just nothing but a projection. What holds this projection is this eternal absolute alone upholds. When we go dissecting into it, we find nothing. It's just energy is being changing states. That is it. In the manifested world, that's what it is. That alone you are, that alone, Tattvameva, you are that, and that is you. Every single cell of this body and everything that goes in every cell in this body is upheld by this Brahman. I alone am that. That alone I am. And yet I find myself confused. And I have the audacity to say, I am such a such person. I am not blessed. I am blessed. I have money. I have no money. We cry. We complain. Every part of us is Brahman. In fact, that alone is. Nothing else exists other than Brahman. We just have to shift our gaze. That's all. Mantra 17. Jagrat Swapna Shushuptyadi
Jagrat Swapna Sushuptyadi
Prapancham Yat Prakashate
Prapancham Yat Prakashate
Tad Brahmahamiti Jnatva
Tam Brahmahamiti Jnatva
Sarva Bandhaif Pramuchyate.
Sarvabandhe Pramuchyate.
Jagrat Swapna Shushuptyadi Prapancham Yat Prakashate. Whatever experiences we light, whatever experiences we go through in the waking, dream, deep sleep state, without my consciousness, I cannot experience waking. Without my presence, I cannot experience dream. Without my presence, I cannot say in the morning, I had a fantastic sleep. Who was there in the deep sleep state who slept and who woke up and said, Arey, aaj to kya badhiya neend aayi? Who was there? It is only pure awareness. Anything that is illumined, anything that is brought to our attention, anything which is known, it is known in the very presence of Brahman. Other than Brahman, nothing can illumine my presence. Whatever yat prakashate, tad brahma ahamiti. I alone am that. Gnatva. I have to know that. Every waking moment when we are continuously basking in this light of awareness, in this light of consciousness, continuously when we are in it, in and through it, and we never lose the fact, "Ah, I am, I am." That's why I said, see the lake and also see the absence of the lake. The presence and the absence of the lake is illumined by me alone. This ahamiti jnatva, it is me, it is me, it is me. What happens? Sarva bandhai pramuchyate. All bondages over there, they all come to an end. The bondage is there because I am seeing the bondage. I'm not seeing the son as the son. I'm seeing my son as a lazy person who is not getting a job. और स्वामी जी ये लड़का शादी नहीं करता है. What the hell is it to you? वो शादी नहीं करता है. देखते रहो. The problem arises when we see it with dosha drashti. And that is why over here, Jagrat Swapna Shushuptyadi Prapancham Yat Prakashate Tad Brahma Ahamiti Gnatva Sarva Bandhaif Pramuchyate Tad Brahma Aham. Realize it is me. Not only have you fathered and mothered that child, but in fact, all this is me. All this is me. The presence is known to me. The absence is known to me. All is known to me. In fact, I am the knowing principle. That's it. Unqualified knowledge. The light, I say, what is in my hand? Someone may say nothing. Actually, light is what is there on this hand to reveal that nothing exists on the hand. Without the presence of the light, nothingness is not known. When I say what is on the hand, I should say light plus watch. In the light alone, the watch is known. If it were complete darkness, I can hold anything. Will you be able to see? No. In the same way, what knows? Consciousness. Consciousness alone knows. So it is the knowing principle, unqualified. The light which lights up, it doesn't say, अरे यहाँ पे तो कुछ भी नहीं है. And the light doesn't say, अरे ये तो cup मैंने अच्छी तरह से I am lighting up the cup. No, the light doesn't say that. The light is equally lighting up everything. In Atma Bodh and in other places, Shankaracharya ji said, the light of the sun lights up a Mahatma and also lights up the robber's world where he goes and robs the bank. In whose light did the robber rob the bank? In the same light in which the Mahatma meditated, isn't it? That is unqualified existence, consciousness, awareness, bliss. It is. We will see the remaining mantras tomorrow. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.